I realized that I never started. Now we're ready to go, and participants 4. Okay, we're good. Everybody on. All right, people online, no visitors on.
All right, old business discussion about future commission opportunities for fundraising.
So I've been working with the PD on the race, and the captain that is in charge of logistics for community days is been out of the FBI training academy for the last 12 weeks, and he just returned to work on Monday this week. So I've talked it over with the city manager, the police chief. Minimal concerns from them, but the captain who actually does all the logistics and everything for the parade and the rest of the community fireworks and everything else has some issues. So I'm working through it with them. It was not a no from anybody yet, but it's also not a ringing endorsement of a yes. So he's just mainly concerned about additional people right there at the starting line. I don't think it'll be that big of an issue. And then potentially closing the streets down any earlier, which I wasn't really asking for either. So it may just be that we have to tweak a few details here and there. Maybe if we push the parade back 5 minutes to 10:05 start time, we start the race at 9:55 or something like that. I don't know. I don't have those final details yet. I still think it can all happen. I kind of anticipated the first answer would be no, and then we have to talk them into it, which is fine, because quite frankly, that's my personality too. I'm usually a no to start with, and you got to talk me into it as well, so I understand. But it's not a full scale party on yet. So.
Would they be more? Did you get the sense they'd be more comfortable with an alternate date or time?
I'm sure we could do another date or time. I didn't even broach that because I think it would be amazing to do right before the parade. Okay. It's actually less manpower.
That's what I was wondering, if they see it as an increase of trouble, as opposed to a decrease of trouble, like as compared to an alternate date. So I'm wondering if you pitch the alternate date and they go, no, let's do it before the parade. You know, they would see.
And it certainly would be an alternate date. It's many more people that would need to come in on a Saturday off or something.
Right.
Whereas people are already on duty that day. I really don't think logistically it's going to be a nightmare. You know, there's another 200 people at the start line. There's already 10,000 people on the parade route anyway. So another 200's statistically not a large number.
And for a race where you need what, a block of staging area?
I don't even think that much. I haven't talked to anybody else about it yet. Other entities, the school district, the library. I was envisioning, the library. There's a side street off of Lockwood, which I'm blanking on the name of that for the library right now. And then the library's got a little parking lot across the street there. I was envisioning staging that parking lot, and that would be it. And then the runners would come out, hit Lockwood, and that's a starting line. So really, that parking lot's the staging area. They would finish down here somewhere on this campus, ideally on the track, but I haven't talked to the school district about that yet. And that would give us a 3 mile or 3.1 full 5K if we go on, possibly going to Bulwark or run an extra lap around the rec center or something. So.
Scott, did they give you any timeline on when they may have a final answer for you?
I just got to talk to him today. Like I said, he's been out for the last 12 weeks, and I said I needed an answer by today because I was meeting with you guys. And so the captain and the chief spoke briefly, I think yesterday, about it, but he's just swamped with trying to catch up from being out of the office for 12 weeks. So I'll probably hit him up again end of this week or beginning of next, just touch base with him again and let him, I'll take small bites out of him until I hopefully get the answer that we all are looking for.
Cool.
What's I guess the rules, because July, I planned a race before and there's a lot of things we got to do. We all want to help you. What's protocol for the ability for us to communicate outside of these meetings. Like if you get a go next week, could we kind of start at least giving up some things like logos and contacting the chip people, or just so we're not waiting another month? We could kind of help divide and conquer a bit.
So I can communicate with any of you all individually. You all can communicate with each other individually. But if we have more than 3 people communicating, then it's a meeting. And so then we have to schedule a meeting, post the agenda, have an actual meeting and such. So that's kind of where it's at. But yeah, I mean, we can divvy up. If I get to go, we can divvy up assignments or whatnot if we want to do that via email and say, hey, who wants to start working on this? Who wants to start working on that type of thing? So that we're not, just sitting around for another month or whatnot.
Something I volunteered obviously to reach out to Total Access, and I'm sort of waiting until we get final details, just because he's not the kind of guy you can go, do you maybe want to do this and let me just take a lot of your time. I think they'd be really interested. I'd love to have kind of like a tiered list of options for them in terms of like, we're gonna go all in, we'll give you the first float in the parade with Total Access all over it. You can be on the t-shirts, we'll bill it as the Total Access parade, that kind of, or run. If they want to give us money to do that, like they got to pay for it. But just to know that protocol and those numbers, I feel like should be a group decision. I don't want to freestyle it, but I'd like to get honestly as much money out of vendors as we could, or as sponsors as we could.
Well, you were talking way bigger numbers than I normally hit people up for community days and such. So,
I don't know, start high.
Yeah, right now I don't even have a parade sponsor. I think our parade sponsors kind of turned over a couple times over the last few years. Webster University did it the last 2 years, but I think they're going to look to sponsor something else instead of the parade. So it could be, yes, if they could get the parade and the run at whatever dollar amount, so we can certainly put that package together. I'm redesigning our sponsorship package right now with Jenny Starkey, our public affairs director. So she's making a little bit better graphics packaging, a little bit prettier than what I had put out in the past. So I'm hoping to have something of that put together by the end of this week.
When you say so that goes out to potential sponsors to pitch it to. Okay, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, and it'll list all the different areas, fireworks, parade, run, whatever it might be, and the different sponsorship levels that you can get for that. Now, again, if you want to ask higher than that, whether we actually show them that, because usually my highest rate on there is $5,000.
I just don't want to freestyle and do something that isn't appropriate. So I would, if you guys could loop me in on the emails on that, or however you want to contact me, if it's okay if you just call, and then we can call each other just one-to-one so we don't break the rules. But I don't want to do anything that is inappropriate or, act as if I have authority to speak for the commission when I don't.
Sure.
So,
As soon as we get that put together, I can let you know.
Yeah, and I don't know, honestly, listening to what you just said, Scott, about, sponsor levels and different things with respect to like Total Access or somebody that I think is a deeper pocket. I don't know, honestly, whether they see themselves as community-based at their different locations, or if they prefer to see themselves as like, you live in Webster, come on over to Clayton. It might be sort of an anathema to them to think of themselves as little community offices, so I don't know, I'll have to figure that out.
Which the parade is regional, fireworks is regional. I don't know if this run the first year is going to be regional. I would think it would be, especially if we have to limit the numbers to 150, 200, 300 runners, whatever it may be. I'm sure we're going to pull people outside of Webster, those hardcore runners, especially if they've got a friend who's already a Webster resident. Hey, you should sign up for this type of thing. But it's not going to be a huge regional draw. So I'm not sure a $10,000 package for 200 runners.
Unless we give them like the first, so that's 10,000 people in the parade, and if we can give them sweeten it somehow, other parts of the community days, big banner on site, so
Yeah, and that's part of my package is that you can get things like that.
Yeah,
Put up a banner up here for fireworks, you can get,
yeah.
the first few sections in the parade. The fire department always leads us off with the fire truck, and then there's the color guard. But then it's usually parade sponsor, and then council, and then the grand marshals. First 2 or 3 big sponsors are all in the first 10 floats, 10 sections. So
Gotcha.
they get in that section.
What did we ever hear, or do you guys sell banners for the rec center area?
We're working on that too. Not really banners, but we're working on the ice rink
Okay,
forward package as well.
okay,
That's what Jenny and I are putting together right now. All that.
okay,
So hopefully that'll be
okay,
ready to go here as well.
okay.
Zamboni, boards, whatever you want to sponsor. You want naming rights to the ice rink? Yeah, we're in for it.
Do it.
It'll be the total access ice rink at Webster
Sure,
Groves. Come on,
sure.
in. 30 grand. Come
And
on.
then, everybody else does it.
Yeah.
Sets.
You might get a few more eyes on the Sabbath Center when we get here. So,
Big ass skating events.
there are some.
Yeah.
So that's all I have on the race at this time.
All right. Anything other?
It just like ballpark, when would you think we can hit the ground and start really talking sponsorship? A couple weeks?
Yeah, I mean, I need to get this, I need to get PD on board first, because if they just absolutely say no, then we're just spinning wheels anyways for that July 4th race. At that point, we need to pick another date, and find, and then we can run from there. Pretty much another date, I think will be fairly easy to make happen, other than, sorry, maybe it's just these glasses. Another date, I don't think would be that fine. You just gotta find one on the calendar that works for the community, other races, and things of that nature. But I really do think this July 4th race would be a hit. So,
Actually, I do have one question, since it was one of our fundraising ideas. Was the new Rubber Ducky Day inspired by Lindsay?
it was not.
Okay.
I don't know, it just must have been a great idea that popped up, because my staff actually put that in there, and when I saw it in the stuff they were doing for the brochure, I was like, how about that? So no, I didn't actually, I might have mentioned it at the staff meeting, the things that we talked about, so I might have mentioned it, but I didn't tell them, hey, go make it a Rubber Ducky Day.
It's cool to see. I think there's a lot of new things.
We have a new recreation manager, so she just started last week. Brochure that she's put new ideas in, so she may have brought some stuff from her former job, and she's just got good ideas for us too, so. Cool, yeah.
And Scott, I don't know if this is the same person you were talking about, but whoever just did the little graphic for April, the little Easter eggs that kind of recapped the April events, like the dog hunt and the dog hunt. That was really cute. That was kind of the first I've seen like it's like a nice, easy visual to kind of see all the events for April.
It's her, yes.
Yeah, so kudos to her. That was cute. I shared that to like the little Webster Moms group, and a lot of people liked it. So I thought that was just a good, it's good to post the individual events, but I liked how you kind of showed like everything that was going on for the month.
Thanks for that update.
Any other comments on old business? Okay, then on to new business. Sounds like
I have none.
no new business. Okay. And so Sarah Richardson is up next with the council report.
Hey, everybody. I just wanted to bring up a couple of things that are coming up in the next couple of weeks. I'm sure I have the right date on some of this. So tomorrow night at 7, the Green Space Alliance is having a new tree establishment and care seminar at the library with a local expert, actually a couple of local experts on how to pick the right native tree for your planting needs, and then how to take care of it and spot problems, that kind of stuff. So that's tomorrow night at 7 at the library. And also we're going to have kind of a new probably annual ceremony, I would think, for the fire department. They're going to do an award ceremony on April 23rd. That's a Saturday at 10:30 in the morning till noon. And what this is basically they're going to award their kind of their usual awards for the year, but also they're going to acknowledge promotions, new hires, and it's just a time to kind of celebrate the work of the fire department. That's going to be held at Firehouse number 1, because later there will be a big grand opening of Firehouse number 2. But that should be a fun morning for families and anyone who wants to come and watch the fire department and interact in that way. So maybe keep that on your radar. Obviously, this Tuesday is the municipal election, so make sure you have a plan to vote. It's the same as in the last couple of municipal and other elections, that if you're registered to vote in St. Louis County, you can vote at any polling place in St. Louis County. And so there's a number of them in Webster Groves as usual, and they're the ones you probably have gotten used to seeing, but you're able to kind of vote anywhere in St. Louis County. I would encourage you to do that. Again, Webster is voting for mayor, 3 council members, 3 school board members, 2 for 3 years and 1 for 1 year. Webster Groves has 2 local propositions, Prop U, which is the use tax proposition, and Prop W, which is about forming a charter commission. And then St. Louis County has 4 propositions on the ballot. Those are Props A, B, C, and D. There's information on the Webster Groves website about the propositions here, and then on the St. Louis County website about their propositions, if you want more information about those. There are 2 separate use tax ballot measures. One is Prop U for Webster. St. Louis County is also putting a use tax ballot measure on for the county, and that's Prop C. And I believe that's the majority or all of what will be on the ballot on Tuesday. But if you have any questions about that or about anything else, just let me know. We've actually canceled our council meeting for that night, the 5th, because of it being such a busy election day, and us not having any particularly urgent business that kind of required a reschedule. So we won't be meeting on the 5th, but we will be meeting again on the 19th for a regular council meeting. So any questions?
Sound like it.
All right.
All right, Scott.
All right, I'll echo Sarah's statement. We vote next week. There's important stuff for our local community, with all the council members and mayor and our propositions that are out there. So please vote. Rec Center is a voting place. New brochures are out, and also for you guys that are online, they're online as well. You can find them at the city's webpage. But we do have a limited number here. We didn't mail any of them out again this time. We're still just pinging them out at the desk. They're also at City Hall, and I'm not sure if they've made their way to the library yet. Normally we put some at the library as well. And then we will mail them out if someone calls in and requests a paper copy. We'll mail them an individual one, but we're not sending them out to every resident like we did the previous years. Budget items. So we've turned in our budget. We've gone through first round of budget reviews with I have gone through the first round of budget reviews with city manager and finance directors. That all went pretty well for our department. Weren't any big surprises as of yet. I haven't been told to slash $100,000 or anything like that. I don't think I will, because we put in pretty conservative numbers. We had been asked to do that 3-year plan, which I think I talked with you all about last time, that our department is asked to either we need $500,000 over 3 years. So we either need to cut expenses or raise revenues to get that $500,000 change. Since we've been able to take the mask off in the facility for the last month or so, revenues are actually looking good. I just noticed the fitness class that was in the room over tonight. If you'll notice, that class was banging. They had more people in there than I've seen in a really long time in one of our classes over there. So we're getting people back in. They're coming back in, and it's good. I'm estimating at this time that our expenses will be higher than we were supposed to bring in, and I'm sorry, our revenue will be higher, our expenses will be lower, which is always the goal and what I hope to do. For next year, I've projected an additional $120,000 of the revenue, plus we did cut a few expenses out here and there as we could. most of that 120,000 is a return to normal from COVID levels. Just being able to have more people come to fitness classes, more kids at Camp Weebridge, more memberships, that kind of stuff. Still not projecting to go all the way back to pre-COVID levels. If everything comes in the way I projected right now, we would be at a 94% cost recovery on the rec center next fiscal year, which is still really good. Most cities are banking on about 80% cost recovery. So that's really good for us.
That's just because of the increase in folks coming back.
Well, so yeah, so 94% would be our total recovery next year. Last year we were 92%, so we'd be going up another 2% on that cost recovery. In fiscal year 20, when COVID first hit, we were down to 72% cost recovery. So, you know, we've come a long way from when COVID first hit, but previous to COVID, we were at 99%. So all the revenue we bring in here paid for all the salaries and the recreation side. That doesn't really include parks, but everything in the recreation side, the pool, the fitness center, the ice rink, all of our staff, all of our it's all of our operating expenses and everything. So that's really good to be at that mid to high 90s range. So I would be very happy with that. That means you guys as taxpayers aren't funding very much of that operation at all. Most of it's coming through our fees.
So in the gap from when we went down is the $500,000 that you're talking about?
No. So moving forward, because the whole city's expenses are rising faster than our revenues are rising.
Gotcha.
The city management has asked each department to put together a 3-year plan.
Gotcha.
And each department was given a different dollar amount that they needed to flip over those 3 years. And for the Parks and Rec department, it was $500,000. We need to increase revenues or decrease expenses to make up a $500,000 gap over the course of 3 years. I don't think it'll be hard for us because I'm projecting an extra $120,000 in revenue just for next year, just coming back from COVID. So assuming.
So and ARP funds aren't gonna help with any of those deficits?
They will. Council and staff are still working on where all the ARP funds should go and how they'll be spent. That hasn't been decided yet. The city has gotten half of those ARP funds. We've got them in the bank now. We'll receive the second half later on this year. But as of yet, council hasn't decided where to plug all that money into and what exactly we'll do, whether we'll build some bridges or buy a fire truck, or pay me more salary or what, or just throw it all back in the pot to make up for lost revenue that we've lost in the last couple of years. So all those options are on the board. Probably not me getting paid. Actually, that is actually. Council's been, I don't want to speak for Sarah, but in my opinion, council is waiting to see how all our budget numbers that we're putting together for next fiscal year come together and getting closer to the end of the current fiscal year and seeing where we're sitting with our expenses and our current revenues to guide those decisions on where those rescue plan funds should go to. So yeah, that $4.2 million certainly come in handy. It's just where council decides to focus those funds on. The pool, so we're getting ready to start opening the pool. Gosh, it doesn't seem like it's summer yet, but here we are. We just re-signed with our pool management company that we've been with for the last 27 years, Midwest Pool Management, for lifeguard services, pool management. We did a 3-year agreement with them, so that will get us through our anticipated end of life for this current pool, and then hopefully we'll be building that new pool, assuming the bond issue goes through, you know, yes. Just this week, we refinished a large section of the toddler pool. The plaster that was out there popped last year, and so if you came in the pool, you might have noticed there was some netting that went across kind of where the big bucket dumps kind of went across there to keep some kids out of a small area there. All that has been replaced this week, and we're ready to go with that. knock on wood, that'll be the only thing we have to do, but it won't be, we'll have other things once we get going on it. And then we also, just this week, have signed with Gateway Pyrotechnic to do our July 4th fireworks again this year. It's the same company we had last year. And the plan is to do the same, not the same show, same location out on the ball fields, Mora Fields, behind the pool. It will require the pool to be closed again on July 4th. I know that was some angst last summer that we had to do that. That was the first time we've had to close the pool, but we moved the location from the previously it was over by Hickson and now it's on our site. So because they're setting up fireworks less than 100 feet away from the pool, we can't have the pool or any occupied buildings within that safety zone. So the rec center is closed that day, but we'll have to close the pool as well. And Arbor Day Celebration will be April 20th this year at Barbary Park. Tree planting will start about 3 p.m. Looking to plant a couple hundred trees. I'm still not sure how we're going to plant that many trees in Barbary Park, but park staff is pretty awesome at finding places for trees, so we'll probably make it happen. It won't be in any of the grassy open area. It'll be inside forested area now. Just getting ready to replace some of those bigger trees as they mature out and eventually die off. So,
What was that date?
April 20th, 3 p.m. for tree planting, if anybody wants to come out and help. And then the Arbor Day ceremony and awards will be at 5:30. And that's what I've got. But I'm happy to answer any questions y'all may have.
It may not be an appropriate question, but out of all the candidates, have you heard any, I guess, topics or areas of concern that they have for the Parks and Rec department?
I have not. We did a couple candidate learning sessions, 2 different dates with all the candidates to kind of give them an overview of what each department does. Each department director had a few minutes to speak to them, and none of them grilled me on any tough questions or negative towards anything we're doing in Parks and Rec or anything. But I have not followed their campaigns because I don't get that vote anyways as a non-resident. So even if I did, I probably wouldn't speak to it. But yeah, I'm excited to see who all will be on council in 2 more weeks. So
Thank you.
Did Midwest say anything about the staffing issues they had last year, anticipating any issues this summer?
So they raised their fee or their lifeguard payments, so they're paying guards more. They realized they had a tough summer across St. Louis County. They have less municipal pools this year than they had last year. Signed with them, and they are also have been transitioning out of or away from some of the neighborhood associations and golf courses, pools, and things like that. You don't think those are all that labor intensive because you only take 1 or 2 guards, but when you're having to pull 1 or 2 guards, well, it's really 2 to 4 guards a day because you usually have to rotate them in and out. And then you're pulling those from your municipal pools and sending them out. They'd rather focus on the municipals. So I am hopeful that they will get a good turnout of guards this year. We had a better experience than many pools did last year. Webster's got a really good swim team, and I think that kind of just keeps going with keeping those I don't want to say kids, it's not really our children, youth of our community involved in swimming, and they want to be guards. We're typically a pretty fun place to work for, but yeah, I'm nervous about it, just like I am kind of all of our areas, but that one's a little bit out of our control on making sure they've got enough. But I know they're working hard. They're out at schools already doing job fairs and things like that. So they start training in January for summertime, getting people in and trained, certified to be lifeguards. So Hopefully they're on top of it. Quite frankly, I think they will do a much better job at it than I would do. It's a conversation I had with the city manager about, is this something we want to take in-house at some point? And not having an indoor pool to do training on right now, it would be very hard for us to even certify enough guards, because we couldn't certify guards until we got the pool full of water. And by that point, you're, 2 weeks away from opening. It would be very difficult. So there's still a way to go, but I'm always nervous about it. But I think they'll do a good job. They really do. I think we get preferential treatment. We were one of the very first pools that they ever started doing the service with. I've got a good working relationship with the staff there, so I'm cautiously optimistic that it'll go fairly well until we hit end of season. All the college kids go back to school. The high school, yeah, that's a scramble. Any online questions that I can answer?
Not here.
But okay, that's all I've got.
All right, the next up is setting the next meeting. We have right now, April 27th at 7 PM. So I'll take a motion to make that our next meeting. Tracy moved and do we have a second? Okay. Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, next meeting is April 27th.
I already know I'm probably gonna be out of town that day. Will you still have Zoom?
Yes. Yeah, I think Zoom will be around forever with all those.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Like, why would you do it?
Well, and it's nice because they are recorded, and so, they're out on our YouTube page. You go watch them. If I miss a council meeting, I normally watch it the next day at work even, so all of our
We
commission.
get more and more entertaining.
Sometimes
So they get really
yeah.
entertaining.
Sarah, we had asked earlier about the vacant spot on the commission. Has the council interviewed for that already, or?
No, I'm not sure we've had any applicants, but I will check with Katie and see. I think if we had applicants, we maybe would have interviewed them the last council meeting, but as it is now that we don't have another meeting until the 19th, hopefully we can get some in before that, so we could get some folks interviewed and somebody placed.
Okay.
So if you have ideas, encourage people to apply. I've been known to do that.
We currently have 8, we only need 5, so with Zoom, I think we would probably be all right, but there's been times when we've been down to like 6 or 7 at one point, and it was tougher, and they were all in person. The Zoom option was tougher. So we had to, about 2 or 3 years ago, we canceled quite a few, so. Hopefully.
Okay, any other questions, comments before we adjourn? Okay, all motion to adjourn. Do we have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Meeting adjourned.
Great.
Thank you all.
Good to see you guys. Have a good
Thanks,
one.
Kevin.
Have a good
See
night,
you
guys.
soon.
With respect to getting your PD and all that, if you need to get a hold of me, and or Lindsay was gonna help me